Welcome back to Talk of the Town on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
And we welcome you back to Talk of the Town for this Wednesday, April 21st. I'm Gary Stevens. We are very pleased to have joining us in a monthly rotation updates from Community Action House. At times we chat with its Executive Director, Scott Rumsa. But today we are joined by David Lee, who is the project manager, sometimes the front man for the agency in terms of telling us what's going on. He joins us via the Zoom connection. David, good morning and welcome back to WHTC.
Thanks, Gary. Good morning.
Glad you are with us. And we have some guests. I'm going to talk about being well, financially well. David, why don't you lead us in terms of introducing our guests, and then we'll start the discussion.
Well, these are two really amazing folks. The first one I'm proud to introduce is Alexis Vanzowin. She's actually a PhD, and she's been with Community Action House for most of the last year as a AmeriCorps Vista member. And she's also a part of a financial wellness team, developing programs to help families locally that, well, in new ways, partly as a result of the pandemic, but just in ways that we know families in Holland really need it. And our other guest is Tamara VandenBerg. She goes by Tam or Tammy. I've known her as Tammy for way too many years, but she's actually an associate professor of accounting and finance. No, wait, you might be a full professor. I'm sorry, you're the associate, you're the CEO of Davenport. I'm just kidding. You're the associate department chair at Davenport. Anyway, she's been a huge part and a great partner for us this season of taxes. Yeah, I'm actually excited to talk about taxes today, which is not a normal thing for me or pretty much anybody else. But
we're not talking about the outbreak, and that I think that more than anything else is
right.
Just something a little bit different, David. But normally would say, hey, wait a minute. This is April 21st. We're 6 days after the deadline, but the deadline got moved up a little bit, so we can still talk about taxes, and to a certain extent, taxes is something that needs to be discussed on a year-round basis because, and Alexis or Tammy, you can either join us on this as well, because of property taxes and assessments and stuff like that. You got to be aware of it 12 months a year, not just, between January 1 and used to be April 15th, the day for income tax filing.
Definitely. There are some things you can do year-round that help reduce your tax bill come tax time. What we like to do is the tax code puts in a lot of those things that makes life easier, like benefits for childcare and retirement savings. And so those are things you spend on year-round, but you can get a tax credit at the end of the year when you file your taxes for doing things like saving for retirement, working, and paying for childcare.
Now, the thing is, and to a certain extent, Community Action House, David and Tammy and Alexis had to get into this because of the fact that, people need help with the basics, food, lodging, clothes, but I hate to say it, taxes is part of the basis as well. I mean, we talk about death and taxes being the only sure things in life. To a certain extent, that, and Tammy, you can address this as much as anybody, getting involved in tax preparation for those who, let's just say the income is not as much as, they're not going to get $100,000 back in the taxes in regard, but still, it is something they definitely need.
Definitely. And there are some things in the tax code that a lot of those software programs that you might see or the advertisements you might see don't catch, that you can only get when you go to somebody who's been trained by the IRS in taxes. So things like you can get some of your property tax money back, even if you rent. And it's a possibility to get some of that money back. And those things can be really helpful for people.
That leads to a question. Some people might say, well, I file simple because I know even if I try to file detailed and on all that, I'm not going to get that much back anyway. You know, it doesn't, you know, the work outlay is not the same as it would be if there was, you know, if I was doing this extra work and I'm getting $10,000 back, hey, yeah, I'll do the work. But if I'm only going to get an extra $20 out of it, yeah, I don't know.
Well, for the state of Michigan, you can get up to $1,500 back for property tax payments. So depending upon your income level and family situation, it can be worth it to do some of that work. And instead of trying to figure it all out yourself, it's complicated and hard, isn't it? And so this year, Community Action House is really doing a great thing and stepping up and helping people figure this out. And you can have your taxes prepared for free by people who have been trained by the IRS to find everything possible. And it's really, truly, honestly free. We don't come back and say later on, oh, you know, well, to file your state taxes, you have to pay $40 or something like that. It's truly, honestly free, and it's done by people who know what they're doing.
Not just that. Yeah, go ahead, David.
Well, I was going to say it's actually better than free because the training means that there's a lot of guidelines and like ongoing support for the folks that are doing the tax returns. It's also better than free. And Alexis can speak much more to this. But these folks are not just saying, hey, we'll do your taxes. They're actually going, we will help you figure out the weird steps of finding documents. We're going to work with you way beyond what someone who's charging for tax prep is going to do, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to break down some of those barriers, you know. So maybe Alexis, can you maybe talk about, well, first of all, I think I would love to hear, like, where are we at with like the amount of tax refunds and tax returns that we've already completed through this program since January?
Yeah, thanks, David. We have already done over 180 tax returns just through Community Action House. We're partnering with Davenport, as you've heard, and Davenport has already done hundreds of more in the Holland area, and then throughout the Grand Rapids area as well. But just Community Action House, we've done over 180, and in total, that's brought back over $233,973 of stimulus money and federal and Michigan tax refunds back into our community. So we're really proud to be able to step in as some other programs who do this service have had to close this year because of COVID. One thing that we've been really focused on, as David mentioned, is trying to help people gather documents and not just come in and prepare the returns, but really go through the whole process. And so we have offered our computer. We have computer time so that people can come in, log into their HR account online, and then use our printer to print off their W-2 forms. We have offered our phone to people so they can call their employers, and then our fax number to have things faxed directly to us. Just trying to be, just knowing that I think for many people, especially some of our clients who are experiencing homelessness, keeping track of documents is really difficult, and that's a barrier, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't get their stimulus check. And so we have been walking with people through the process, and it's been awesome to hear stories from some people who have said, like, wow, I'm getting, you know, maybe over $2,000 back between the stimulus checks that I never got and the tax refunds that I am owed. And now I actually have enough money for a down payment for an apartment for that first month's rent. And so it's been really neat to hear the stories, because we do walk with people kind of at the beginning of the process, and then can help them with figuring out, you know, what to do when they get that money back, whether they're looking for housing or they're trying to get connections. We've referred people to legal aid, to affordable mental health counseling, to just our general individual, like, financial counseling if they're working on budgets or trying to develop new habits. And so it's been a really holistic service, which has been really rewarding to see.
395-1450, 395-1450. If you have a question, David Lee, along with Tam VandenBerg from Community Action House, as well as Dr. Alexis VanZalen, also with the Community Action House. They're all together working on your taxes. And I hate to say this, but a lot of the things that Community Action House does, including this tax, a lot of people don't know about it. It's a case of, Community Action House has been around for half a century, and it's still, shall we say, unknown in certain quarters. And, that sometimes is the frustrating part because people need help. There's help available, but they just don't know about this.
Gary, you're making me feel old today. No, we have been such a responsive organization because we are quick to spin up and meet emerging needs. So when housing was a huge issue a couple of decades ago, we actually owned houses and provided housing directly to folks. As other organizations stepped up into that space, we took a step back from that and supported it in different ways. This past year has been a lot of providing food and groceries, especially healthy groceries. That's been a big thing. So fresh food, because I think the access to that has been harder than in any year that we've seen before. And we know how much having access to enough healthy food will just boost everyone's ability to function and contribute to society. With this tax stuff, I mean, I gotta be honest, the stimulus money, you had to be in the IRS systems mostly to get it. And that's $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. It's thousands of dollars for lots of families. And I am just so excited to be able to say, like, we were able to, within a couple months, know that this was a thing that we needed to do. And it was going to make a huge difference for hundreds of local families. So we know that a lot of people haven't heard of us yet, but I mean, thankfully, we have good community partners like you, Gary, and WHTC that are willing to help us out, because we're not the greatest at self-promotion, but we do our best to help people.
Yeah, that's what we try to help and let people be aware of the situation. One more thing, then we'll take a break, and Tammy's got to be moving along. So we do want to mention the fact that this tax service deadline is coming up. Yes, I know the IRS deadline has been moved up a month, but there's still a deadline for people who want to be a part of the program, right?
Yeah, so the new deadline is May 17th, but at Community Action House, we'll need your documents just a little bit earlier than that in order for us to get everything processed and sent off to the IRS in time. So we do have a drop-off method so that it's very COVID safe, that you don't have to sit, next to somebody for a whole hour while they work on your taxes. If you want us to help with your taxes this year, you can give us a call or just come in to our office on 14th Street with all of your tax documents. And there's some forms to fill out, and then we will get you scheduled for a telephone appointment with our tax preparers. And so if you want to have your taxes done, our last day for you to walk in with your documents would be May 7th. And that'll just give us enough time to connect you with our tax preparers and then get everything finalized to send off to the IRS by May 17th. So come in by May 7th.
And the phone number is 392-2368, 392-2368 with the extension 1000.
100.
Okay, 100.
Did I put down 1,000?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's on me.
Okay.
We are bilingual, so English and Spanish, totally fluent. So
that's good.
We don't want language to be a barrier, and yeah.
That's excellent. That is excellent. A couple of things I want to bring up. First of all, let's use an old line from Jerry Maguire. Remember the movie where Tom Cruise was being goaded by Damon Wayans? Show me the money. Well, we got to show me the money today coming up there. David and Alexis, tell us all about it.
Yes, Show Me the Money Day is a fun and free event. We like all those free services, free events, free food, and it's even though there's COVID going on, it's going to be held at the Civic Center. We've got a lot of protocols in place for sanitizing and distancing and crowd control to make sure that everyone stays safe. But it's going to be a great opportunity for people from the community to come and learn more about the financial wellness resources in our area. So there's going to be a series of workshops on things like loans for cars and homes, understanding credit and managing debt, strategies for budgeting, work readiness. Michigan Works is going to be there, and actually we'll be able to sit down and help people work on their resumes at this time. So it's a really great way to think about all-encompassing ways to improve your personal finance situation, especially in this year when we've realized how volatile the economy can be, and learning the importance of emergency savings and thinking about how do I develop a habit of saving, or how do I manage my money is kind of the goal. So there will be workshops. There will also be a resource fair for people to meet with representatives from local banks and various nonprofits about the various financial resources that are available. So that's coming up on Saturday, April 24. So that's actually just in a couple of days. There's more information on our website, communityactionhouse.org. We'd love to have you pre-register just so we know who is coming. And also, if you register, you can guarantee yourself a boxed lunch. So check that out. It's going to be a fun time.
Now
there are prizes too.
Yeah. There'll be a gift card for a scavenger hunt. I don't know, but people scurrying around the Civic Center nowadays, with all the renovations, gonna have to go upstairs, downstairs, and all that other fun stuff
Exactly.
at the Civic Center place. But it should be a lot of fun. But it is this Saturday, starting at 10. So it's basically a 3-hour event, 10 to 1.
It's actually going to be you can come as early as 9:30. Our first workshop will be at 10, but we just want to give everybody time to get registered, to do your temperature checks for COVID safety and that sort of thing. So you can come at 9:30. The last workshop will end at about 1:45, and then we'll be handing out prizes. So it should be finished by 2:30, and you can kind of come and go anywhere in there as well.
It'll be a lot of fun, and hopefully a lot of people will take advantage of this resource to be able to do that. Now, a couple of other things I want to touch base with you, David, and you, Alexis, on involving Community Action House. And if you have a question about the CAH, 395-1450, 395-1450. You can register for Saturday's event via the website, and we'll put a link to communityactionhouse.org. We put the podcast of our conversation on our webpage at WHTC.com at the top of the hour. But there's also a way, if you got the smartphone, you can text to get the information, David, right?
Yeah, this is a new thing that we've been trying to do with all of our events. So you can text SMTMD to 66599. And that stands for Show Me the Money Day. So SMTMD. And we'll send you a quick link to be able to register right from your phone. Also, with more information about the event, we'd love to, try to meet you wherever you're at. If you want to go online with your computer, if you want to give us a call here at 616-392-2368, we'd be also happy to answer questions about the event.
392-2368. Just want to repeat it so people can write it down in case. Absolutely. Oh, where's my pen? We do that. I mean, we all do that. So try to understand that. This is a big weekend, David, for the Community Action House. You have the Show Me the Money Day on Saturday, and then Sunday, hopefully there'll be a good fundraiser for the blessing of the bikes. Now, I know that there was some questions about that going to be going forward, but it has moved to a different location. But Community Action House, David, is going to benefit from having the blessing of the bikes coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, this event goes back, like 30 years, I think, that they've been doing this for so long. And it's just a great group of people locally that want to ride. And West Michigan is beautiful, and they've taken it upon themselves to go on. Safety is a huge concern, so they want to have a good, safe season. And through the years, they've chosen us a few times to support with some of their donations. They'll collect either some money or some food, and we're just excited to be considered. Yeah, so that's on Sunday. And really, you do need a bike to be able to do it, I think.
Yeah.
We also have an event going on Saturday, another one actually, almost at the same time. Dutch Village, Nellis Dutch Village, is having their opening day for the season. And of course, they're at kind of reduced capacity, but I mean, all the stuff is there. They got the petting zoo. They're also doing a community day food drive for us. So if you bring in some items, and the information's right there on the website, also on Facebook, you can get a discount on some season passes, which are pretty valuable. And I mean, I'm looking forward to this summer. I know it's snowing literally right now in Holland. It's fine. We're going to be okay. But I'm excited to be outdoors, and I think it's a great way to be able to just spend some time with family and do some good for our community.
Again, the opening day for Nellis's Dutch Village is on Saturday, as well as the Show Me the Money fair over at the Herringa Holland Civic Center place on Saturday. And then on Sunday, it's the Blessing of the Bikes over at the Beechwood Church on the north side. One final thing, and sort of tie up this conversation in a nice big bow, is the fact that Community Action House, yes, there are some staffers that, that's how they make their money, to be able to help the community. But you guys can't do it without volunteers, can you?
Yeah, it's all of these events really are powered by our community, whether you're donating food, whether you're donating your time, whether you're sharing about our events and our services with your friends and your network. We really appreciate the support. So just for example, our free tax service that we were talking about earlier is all done because of volunteers. We have a group of 9 individuals who have learned how to do taxes, learned how to navigate the program, and they've been working really hard to meet the needs of our clients. And so there's just a variety of ways to get involved. So that's another thing too that you could visit our website for. There's a whole page with a list of all of the different volunteer opportunities if you'd like to get involved in that way.
Yeah, and be honest with you, a lot of things that the Community Action House is doing, we just don't have time to explain it all. So I will just direct people to go to the website, which is communityactionhouse.org, and they'll be able to provide more information on some of the things we have discussed today with David Lee, the project manager, with Dr. And I know it's formal, but with Alexis Vanzowin from AmeriCorps Vista, member and a financial wellness specialist. And we also wanted to thank Tamara VandenBerg from Davenport University, who joined us earlier in our Zoom connection. To all of you, thank you very much for joining us today on Talk of the Town and sharing us what's going on at Community Action House. Wish all of you well on what should be a very exciting weekend for CAH.
Thank you, Gary, so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
And that is Tamara VandenBerg was with us earlier, Alexis Vanzalen and David Lee from the Community Action House.